Today, we are going to stay in section 6.5. I'm going to show you one more way that we can use this dividing thing. So, we are going to give you a problem. It's going to say something like 1/0 of f of x is x cubed minus 2x squared minus 9x plus 18 is x equals 2. We want to find the other zeros of the function. Really, all this is asking you to do is go through the factoring process again, okay? So if I have x equals 2, that means I'm really working with x minus 2. So that 2 is going to be your k value. So 2, again, goes up in the box, up in the corner. And do I have every power of x? Yep. So we're going to get 1, -2, -9, and 18. Draw our line, go through our same synthetic division process that we went through yesterday. Drop the 1. Yes. So, no, because it's like we have x minus 2. So, x equals 2 and k are going to be the same. So, what we're really looking at is like x minus 2 equals 0, and then we solved for the polynomial, or solved for that little equation that we just made. Okay, good question. Okay, so we drop our 1. 2 times 1 is going to give me 2. -2 plus 2 is going to give me 0. 2 times 0 is 0. -9 times 2 is going to give me -18. Add it down to 0. Which means that I have, if I'm going to factor this, -9 times 2. Okay? Then, -9 is going to be my constant. I don't have an x term, but I've got an x squared. So I'm going to have x squared minus 9. Nope. Yep. So we can factor this x squared minus 9 using our difference of squares. So I'm going to get x minus 2 times x plus 3, x minus 3. That's all equal to 0. We set all of these equal to 0. So x minus 2 is equal to 0, x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. And hopefully by now you guys can all solve these. X is going to be 2, -3, and +3.
Can I do x equals 2 and x equals plus or minus 3, plus or minus 3?
Yes, you can use plus or minus notation if you would like. So, but so you're right. It's not a lot different. Yep. So because finding a zero is finding where the function is equal to 0.
Oh, now we got 4 problems. Oh.
So, you are an accountant for a manufacturer of radios. The demand function for the radios is P equals 40 minus 4x squared, where X is the number of radios produced in millions. It costs the company $15 to make a radio. First thing we want to do, write an equation giving the profit as a function of the number of radios produced. Then they tell us that the company currently produces 1.5 million radios and makes a profit of $24 million. If you would like to, but you would like to scale back production, we want to know what lesser number of radios could the company produce to yield the same result. So, first of all, what is profit?
How much you make?
Good, Peyton, I like how you said that. It's the money that you make after your expenses. So, you're going to have your sales minus your expenses. Expenses. So, the simplest equation I know for profit is sales minus expenses.
Profit is spelled with
Okay. So our sales. If we're going to look at, let's back up here. What's important in this paragraph that we need?
numbers.
So, you want that equation, $15 to make a radio.
Probably something.
What's that?
Probably something.
Oh. Yep, those are probably pretty important.
Yeah, very important.
Okay, to find my sales, we need to look at our demand function, okay? This does not tell me how many radios that I sell. It tells me how many that I'm making. So how do you find sales knowing how many that you have? So, say this tells you that you make 15 radios and you sell them for $20 a piece. How would you find that? So, if this demand function tells you that you make 15 radios and you sell them for $20 a piece, what do you make in sales? You're going to take your 15 times your 20. So you're going to take your demand function times how much you sell them for. We don't know how much we sell them for or how many we're going to produce. So our profit to figure out our sales is going to go 40 minus 4x squared, that demand function, times number of radios that we produce, so, or the number that we're going to sell. And our expenses, if it's $15 to make a radio, how do I find my expenses? So just a flat fee of $15. So we're going to go 15 times however many radios we make. No, because it's all based on how many radios we produce. The more radios we produce, probably the more we're selling, and the more radios we produce, the more our expenses go up. So, whenever you see parentheses, no. Whenever you see parentheses, what do you have the urge to do? So you should distribute. So you're going to get 40x minus 40x cubed minus 15x. And if we collect our like terms, and I'm going to put this in standard form, I'm going to get that profit is equal to a negative 4x cubed. And if I take 40x minus 15x, it should give me 25x. So there's part A. Questions on how we got here? Okay, then, now that we have our profit, so looking at B, what is our profit? 24 million. But be careful. Everything we're working with is in millions. So
Get rid of some zeros.
we're going to get rid of some zeros. So we're just going to let our profit be 24. That's going to be equal to negative 4x cubed plus 25x. If we're going to find how many we can do this, we want to get this equation equal to 0, just like we did in chapter 5 with our quadratics. So we're going to subtract our 24 over. And we're going to end up with negative 4x cubed plus 25x minus 24 is equal to 0. And now, they tell us that we produce 1.5 million radios. This is going to be your K. And since that is our K value, 1.5 is going in the box. Do I have every value power of X? No, what am I missing? Good, so what do I need to do? We need to put that 0. So your coefficients are going to be negative 4, 0, 25, negative 24. Drop our negative 4 down. Negative 4 times 1.5 should be negative 6. So 0 plus negative 6 is going to give me negative 6. Should give me negative 8. No, negative 9. When I multiply that, 25 and negative 9. What? No, should be 16.
16. What's 25?
There ain't no halves.
And
Forget about that. I thought we were taking that times 9 by 1. Never mind.
negative 1.5 times 16 is going to give me positive 24.
Oh, I thought we were taking 9 times 1.
Nope, got to add down the column. Okay? So we end up with x minus 1.5 times negative 4x squared minus 6x plus 16. You guys can try and factor this. I'm going to give you a hint. It's not going to work.
I could have told you that.
Okay? So we need to figure out another way to solve for x.
Start plugging in.
Plugging in what?
Random numbers.
Nope.
0. Or 5. I don't think we're plugging.
You guys ever seen that before?
No.
Quadratic formula?
No, we don't have this one. It's different.
So, if I look at this function right here, my negative 4x squared minus 6x plus 16, what is my a value?
4, negative 4.
Negative 4.
Negative 6.
B is going to be negative 6. C is going to be 16. Remember, it's always ax squared plus bx plus c. And from there, if I remember right, you guys didn't mind these too much on the homework. When we went through these, we're going to get, if I have a -6, what do I really have? +6 plus or minus the square root of -6 in parentheses squared minus 4 times -4 times 16 all over 2 times -4. So maybe another day. Okay. If I take -6 squared minus 4 times -4 times 16, I'm going to end up with 6 plus or minus square root of what? Oh, okay. 36 plus 16 squared.
And they get but later away.
16 squared. Which is going to give me 6 plus or minus the square root of 292 all over -8. And what's the square root of 292 roughly? .17. Okay. Now, we're talking about X being the number of radios produced. Okay? So, this plus or minus means that I have to take 6 plus 17.08 and then divide it by -8 and 6 minus 17.08. But if I take 6 plus 17.08, what kind of number do I get? Positive or negative? I get a positive number. A positive number divided by a negative number is going to give me a negative number. Would it make sense to produce a negative amount of radios?
Heck no.
No. Okay? So, we're going to take 6 minus 17.08 to get -11.08 and divide that by -8 to get X is roughly 1.4, and this case is going to be million radios.
Yeah, I already wrote underneath the homework.
Well, I put writing after in our group.
So, there's your homework. We'll check this tomorrow.